the one, the only Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Today's daf is Masechah Sotah daf Yud Tet number 19. I want to focus on something. I haven't really gotten into the procedure of Sotah and the Iyun Shiurim, but there's something that grabs my interest today. The Gemara, the Mishnah on Yud Tet and Aleph talks about more details. What happens when they do Tnufa? Part of the procedure of bringing the Karban Mincha of the Sotah is Tnufa. They have to wave it. The pasuk is V'hinifah Kohen. The Kohen waves the Karban Mincha. But the Gemara learns, and the Mishnah says clearly, that it's not just the Kohen. Also the woman. The woman takes part in it. We learn from Karban Shlom, and the woman takes part of it. The question is, so the Gemara learned that both of them, right? First, the woman puts her hands underneath the Kli Sharetz, which has the Karban Mincha, and the Kohen puts his hands directly underneath her hands, obviously touching her hands, and they wave it together. Now, is he standing on the other side facing her? Is he standing in back of her? It'll be an interesting posture over there. But it's not a problem, obviously. Tosos deals with it. Some of the Jom deal with how could we not be worried about the man touching? So he brings the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says, first of all, you can't put like a cloth between their hands. That would be an interposition, a chatzitza. The Yerushalmi says, isn't it disgusting? So one answer, the Yerushalmi says, we're talking about a Kohen Zaken. We're talking about an old Kohen. He's not going to be aroused by the woman. And even if you want to say it's a Kohen Yelad, a young Kohen, for a second, it doesn't arouse your Yetzer Hara, just touch her for 1 second. How long did it take? Not that long. Therefore, it would be okay. But the bigger problem is, that's the Yerushalmi. We don't really pass like the Yerushalmi. Listen, what I have been taught for over the years, when I grew up with this concept as a modern Orthodox person, there's a concept of Shomer Nagia. You don't want to touch a woman who is not your wife. You're not allowed to touch a woman who is not your wife. And when I came to yeshiva, I learned it's actually machlokes in the Rambam and the Ramban. According to I think it's the Rambam. The Rambam says Nagia is only asr min Torah. They basically learn it from the pasuk. What did the pasuk say? Lo sikrav legalos ervasar or something like that. I don't know if the Gemara actually says that Nagia touching a woman is asr from the Torah. According to the Rambam, it's only if it's shalchiva. According to the Ramban, at all times, even to touch her incidentally, a woman, when it's not for chiva, when it's not a purpose of, introducing love into your relationship, it's just for the purpose of helping. It's a discussion by Hilchas Nida, a woman who's a Nida, and she's very sick, and her husband help her. A Nida is like an erva. You can't touch her. Also, presumably, if you can't touch an erva, you can't touch a Nida either. Even if she's your wife, to help her, go up the stairs, or to help her, to feed her. I don't take care of her body when she's not feeling well, and it's a big discussion if you're allowed to help her, even if she's in a state of sakana. It's a question you're allowed to help her because Yari Val Yavar, it's obvious the Gilei Arayas, right? Gilei Arayas, you have to give up your life, right? You have to give up your life for Gilei Arayas. Even the Gemara says Abiz Rayu, even this thing which is not exactly the Arayas itself, being together with the woman, but hugging and kissing, the Gemara says, I believe, is Abiz Rayu. That also you have to give up your life. The Gemara in Sanhedrin quotes an incident where there was a man who was very sick. He was going to die. And all he wanted to do, the Gemara says, first he said, I want to be together with her. Then he just said, I want to hug her, kiss her. And then he said, I just want to touch her. And then he said, I don't want to touch her. I just want to see her naked. And they wouldn't allow him to do it. And he ended up dying. I think the Gemara is Sanhedrin and Daf 75. Hey, you can check up the Gemara over there. And the reason that the Mefarshim say Tabi Israel, Davodazar, Gilei Arayas. I guess she was a Nida or something like that. So it's Daraisa. Even with Darabana, some posts can say it's Darabana, a Pnuya. The David goes around the Pnuyos. Even if a woman goes to them because she's not a Nida, she's not married to you, it's also Darabana to be together with a woman. So the question is, everyone agrees that at least the Rambam says the Rambam says it's Darabanan if it's not Shalchiba. The Ramban says always Midaraisa. According to the Ramban, it's a problem. I might be flipping around the Ramban and the Rambam. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. One is two main Rishon, and one Rishon says even if it's not for purposes of Chiba, it's a problem. That's why, you go to graduation and some women will not shake the dean's hands when they get their diploma. Business meetings, a lot of it's a machlokas. If it's not shalchiva, you're just doing it, for the purpose of being gracious and being a nice person. Shaking, that's the customary among the Gentiles, is to shake people's hands, even if it's a woman. So a lot of people will refuse to do this. I know the woman from the wife of the mayor of Telstone, where I live in Israel. Yeah, she was an assistant to Reuven Rivlin, who's the president of Israel. She met the Pope and Joe Biden, refused to shake both of their hands, and they ended up bowing down to her, uh, both of them. So I would say like this, that I'm going to argue on the Rambam and the Ramban. I'm not going to go through all the sources over here, but I don't think that there's an Isra of Nagia. We always talk when I was growing up modern Orthodox, Shomer Nagia, Shomer Nagia. There is no problem. There's even a story in my youth. I remember I think it was in 10th grade or something like that. I was staying over at a friend's house. I think it was Woodmere for a Shabbos or something. We went to some girl's house, I don't know, Friday night, just to hang out or something like that. I wasn't the most socially adept person. I was very awkward when I was younger, especially among women. And the girl, whose house it was, I wasn't her house, it was her parents' house. She was saying goodbye to everyone, giving hugs to them or whatever. And then, a friend of mine he was in 10th grade, he was already learning Torah. He was there, but he was getting into learning. He refused to shake her hand. He said, "I want to hug you." And then she held out her hand to shake, and he didn't want to shake her hand. So she said, "Okay, whatever." She kissed him goodbye. Get an air kiss. No. And then, but I was after him, and I wasn't from at that point, but I saw him, and there was something inside of me that said, "I should be Shomer Nagi also." So I also declined to shake her hand. I would shake a woman's hand in business nowadays, to rely on the opinion. There is one opinion that says if it's not for chiba, if it's not for the purpose of entering into a state of love, so then it's okay. But I'd venture to say, even if it is derech chiba, I don't think there's an isser of touching. It doesn't say the sikru legala zerva does not mean necessarily that you can't touch. You can't do something. I don't think touching necessarily is, even if it's derech chiba, it's something which is going to lead to making love. It's very casual to touch other people, touch men and women. There's so many times you get cash from the cash register or whatever. Yeah, I believe even shaking hands with a woman really is derech chiba. It is, bringing a closeness to you that might lead you one day to be together with this woman. But I don't believe that's asr. I believe neshika, the Gemara talks about hugging and kissing. That explicitly in the Gemara is forbidden. But I don't believe touching a woman, even derech chiba, is asr midaraisa. And what's my proof? My proof is our Gemara over here, where the Gemara says it could be very well, maybe the Kohen's standing behind the woman. If he's not behind the woman, it could lead to chiba. It's not just, even though the Yerushalayim is lafi shah, it takes, I don't know, at least 30 seconds, a minute to do. You have to wave to all four sides and wave up and wave down. It could be a heavy basket in the mincha, so it's doesn't take not that short. So it will bring to chiba. It's not asar unless it's really, foreplay. Foreplay is something which is directly related to love. It's just like, Xera, I can understand why, hugging and kissing, that will probably lead, very good chance it'll lead to being together. But touching someone, even shaking their hand, or even massaging their hand, is not something necessarily that's going to lead. That's like Xera, nolad, the nolad, right? You have to be worried about nolad in life. What you can see, what's on the horizon. Nolad, the nolad, something that's too far in the off, you don't have to worry about. That's the Torah's view about it. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.